A shadow war rages on Osiris, and the sky split. A fracture in the warp that only a god of chaos could manufacture. Shooting down in a beam of light, the seeds of Nurgle are sown. The Intercession squad is dispatched to deal with this new threat. Welcome back to MGM, a great place for casual gaming. We've got a kill team matchup between the Death Guard and the Intercession squad. A quick glance at the campaign table shows the Intercession squad at 3-1, while this is our first game with the Death Guard. The Death Guard bring 3 Marines and 8 Poxwalkers. 2 of the Marines will have virulent rounds, and 1 will have a blight grenade. The Intercession squad consists of 6 Marines with bolt rifles. For equipment, the leader has a Vengeance-class scope, and one of the Intercessors has a frag grenade. Today we're playing Consecration, and operatives will be wholly set up in their respective drop zones. Operatives will be able to perform a special mission action called Consecrate Ground for 1 AP. An operative can perform this action if they are within 2 inches of a non-consecrated objective it controls. Until the start of the next turning point, that objective marker is consecrated, and that operative's APL, defense, and attack characteristics of its melee weapons are increased by 1. At the end of each turning point, for each consecrated objective marker friendly operatives control, they score 1 VP to a max of 4 per turning point. For secondary objectives, both the Death Guard and Intercession squad are in the Seek and Destroy archetype. The Death Guard select Rout, Robin Ransack, and Headhunter. The Intercessors select Deadly Marksman, Execution, and Challenge. In the scouting phase, both sides selected Infiltrate, and the Death Guard will have the initiative. We really appreciate you stopping by to watch the game. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as giving the video a thumbs up. Turn 1 is coming up next. We hope you enjoy. With deployment complete, the Intercession squad has went all engage, while the Death Guard has went mostly conceal, looking to try to creep up the board. They do have 1 engage on one of their Marines, and they do have the ability to change one of these up. For strategic ploys, the Death Guard go with Malicious Volleys. They also reveal Rout. The Intercession squad will play in the Devastator Doctrine, with Marksman being on their leader. They also reveal Challenge and mark the appropriate characters, and we go into turn 1 as the Death Guard are going to send one of their Marines forward. This Plague Marine does use a move and a dash and then consecrates the objective. He has been marked by the leader for Challenge, and the leader actually steps up here and can see him across the board, has him in the open. It's a standard move. He consecrates objective 5 and then fires his bolter. He hits on 2s and gets a reroll for the Devastator Doctrine. Lethal 5 due to the scope, and we want to see some criticals out there, doesn't get it. The Feel No Pain roll is pretty good though, and he takes 2 damage. Now as a quick side note, because he consecrated, he should have an increased defense. AP1 would have offset that. He should have gotten 3 defense dice. We whiffed on this the first few times, so we just did not play it the first turn to make it even. In the Death Guard turn, they move 2 Poxwalkers up, and just looking to get more AP on the objective, plus setting them up for next turn because they have to pretty much be on an objective if they want to claim it. The Intercession squad will send one of their warriors forward to consecrate objective 1 using a move, a dash, and a consecrate. The Death Guard activate next with 2 of their Poxwalkers, and just moving these up ever so slightly, staying concealed and getting into cover. This will draw a reaction from one of the Intercessors, who uses a standard move, and will get an open firing lane to one of the Poxwalkers. 4 bolter shots fire, and he hits on 3s. Defense rolls looking for 6s. 2 are blocked. We then move to the Feel No Pains. He ends up taking 4 damage. With Bolter Discipline, he fires again, getting a reroll for Tactical Doctrine. 6-up saves are tested again, this time AP-1, so only getting a defense of 2. We'll take some Feel No Pains here, and that Poxwalker will be eliminated. We swing back to the Poxwalkers, where 2 of them are going to activate, staying concealed and moving into the woods. We are treating this as light cover. The Intercessor with a grenade launcher is going to move forward, and he is going to fire his grenade across the board. A frag grenade targeting the Poxwalker. He hits on 3s, getting a reroll for Tactical Doctrine. That results in 3 hits. The Poxwalker rolls his defense of 3, ends up blocking 2, so rolls 2 Feel No Pains, and will end up taking 1 damage. The blast also hits the Plague Marine, 4 dice needing 3s, and all 4 of these are going to hit. The saves, only 1 are made. Feel No Pains are rolled. He ends up taking 4 damage. This process repeats for the next Poxwalker as well, with 4 shots, hitting on 3s, getting a reroll for Tactical Doctrine. All of these normal this time. 1 save is made, so there will be Feel No Pains that are rolling out. The other Poxwalker takes 4 damage. With his 3rd action, the Intercessor then dashes back into cover. With the Death Guard immediately feeling some pressure, another Plague Marine is going to move forward, go for points in this one, although it is going to expose him, keeps a conceal order, moves, dash, and consecrates. On the Intercessor right flank, another Marine activates. This time he is going to move forward with a standard move, and he is going to toss a frag grenade. The attack is 4 dice on 3s. Poxwalker takes saves looking for 6s, Feel No Pains rolling out. It's not going to be enough, and the Poxwalker will be eliminated. The Plague Marine faces a similar shot, 4 dice needing 3s. 3 up saves required on the Plague Marine. He makes 1, decides to CP reroll 1, and it converts to a save. 5 up Feel No Pains coming out for the damage, and he ends up taking 3 wounds. Another Poxwalker in blast range takes 4 shots as well, rolling out saves looking for 6s. The Feel No Pains aren't enough, and he is eliminated. With his 3rd action point, the Marine dashes back. Now going on the offensive, the Death Guard move one of their Plague Marines forward. He is able to bring one of the Intercessors into clear line of sight. 4 shots on 3s. Defensive 3 looking for 3s. He fails all of them. The Intercessor ends up taking 9 damage, has 5 wounds remaining. Another volley comes back out for Malicious Volleys using a CP reroll this time, and it looks like the Marine is only going to lose 3 more wounds. As we move back to the Space Marine's right flank, 1 moves forward. It takes shots at the Plague Marine. Again, AP1 should be offset by the increased defense. The first volley of bolter shots take the Plague Marine down to 1 wound, but another volley is coming right behind it. 4 dice again, hitting on 3s. Defense are rolled looking for 3s, and then Feel No Pain for the damage looking for 5 ups, and that Plague Marine is going to be eliminated to the bolter fire. We go back to the Death Guard, where Poxwalkers are going to activate. They move extremely slow, just 4 inches, but this one is able to dash to get onto the objective. Another Poxwalker here lumbers forward, just trying to give the Plague Marine behind him some cover. And turn 1 comes to a devastating close as the left flank of the Death Guard completely caved in to frag shots and bolter fire. They lose control of Objective 6 and just end up controlling the center objective closest to their deployment zones. The Intercession squad scores 3, Execution is revealed, and we move into turn 2. Initiative will go over to the Intercessors for turn 2. Malicious Volleys and Tactical Doctrine again are played. We've got a crack grenade loaded into the grenade launcher fired across the board at the Plague Marine champion. He is generating a reroll for Devastator Doctrine, and he gets 2 crits and 2 hits. Revolting Durability changes a critical to a normal hit. 2 of the saves are good at AP 1. He ends up taking 9 damage, and that Marine is going to move forward with his 2nd action and consecrate the objective. The Plague Marine champion is going to activate next. He is going to flip up to an engage order, consecrating the objective, and this is going to increase his defense by 1. We're going to try to remember that moving forward in turn 2 by marking them. He moves forward, takes 4 shots with his bolter, needing 2s. He is firing at the hurt Intercessor, attempting to eliminate him. A CP reroll is used by the Intercessors, and they are good. On the Intercessor right flank, they send one of their Marines forward to consecrate Objective 6. He then lets loose a volley from his bolter, 4 shots hitting on 3s. The Poxwalker needs 6s in order to save. Does get one of them. Feel no pains are rolling out, needing 5 ups. Poxwalker ends up taking 4 damage. The Death Guard feeling on the back foot here. They're going to nominate 2 of their Poxwalkers to flip up to an engage order. The first one is going to charge into Sergeant Raynor, trying to get Headhunter. He swings with an improvised weapon, 4 attacks on 4s, 3 of them hit with a critical. The Sergeant swings back with a chainsword, 4 dice on 3s. The Poxwalker does strike the Sergeant for 3 damage, while in return the Sergeant hits him back for 5. We do roll 5 up, feel no pains on that damage. The Poxwalker ends up taking 4 wounds, parries out the Intercessor's other hit, and then strikes him for 2 damage. And with that combat resolved, we have another Poxwalker switching up to an engage order and charging into the Sergeant as well. The Poxwalker this time will claim an assist, so 4 dice on 3s, while the Sergeant will swing back as well, 4 dice on 3s. The Poxwalker crits the Sergeant for 3 damage, while the Sergeant hits him back for 4. 3 damage will be assessed from the Feel No Pain rolls. The Poxwalker hits him again for 2, while the Sergeant hits back for 4. The Feel No Pains block 2 of them. And this process is repeated again, the Sergeant going down to 3 wounds, and the Poxwalker is eliminated. And with the next activation, we go to the Intercessors, and they are going to fire back into the Plague Marine champion again. This guy is injured, so 3 shots on 4s. He is getting that reroll for Devastator Doctrine. We do have him marked for the increased defense now, so we can remember that as he did Consecrate. That offsets AP 1, but the roll is abysmal, and the Feel No Pains aren't enough. The Plague Marine champion is taken down. Using Bolter Discipline, he turns to fire at the Poxwalker. Again, 4 attacks on 4s, getting a reroll for Devastator Doctrine. AP1 kicks off, reducing the defense to 2. He's looking for 6s. Feel No Pains roll out. He ends up taking 5 wounds. The Poxwalker then activates, changes to an engage order, charges into one of the Marines, just unsure what to do at this point. He swings 4 dice on 4s. With only 1 hit, the Marine slaps him back twice. With only 2 wounds remaining, the Feel No Pain roll isn't enough to keep the Poxwalker alive, and he is taken off the board. The next Poxwalker activates as part of the group activation 2. He simply moves forward and uses a dash to try to get to objective 3. An Intercessor is going to move slightly to bring the Plague Marine into an open lane of fire. He is going to unleash with his bolter, 4 shots on 3s. All of them connect. Defense is 3, and he is going to be looking for 3s, and he does save 1, and it looks like his 5-up Feel No Pain will block another 4. We repeat the process for Bolter Discipline with 4 more shots coming out. And once again, looking for 3-up saves. Roll is not very good here. Feel No Pains are rolled, and the Plague Marine is taken down to 2 wounds. The Plague Marine then activates, lumbers forward. He is super slow, so also has to dash. He then consecrates the objective. The Sergeant activates next, and he is going to fight the Poxwalker. 4 dice on 4s as he is injured. He gets 3. The Poxwalker comes out as well, looking for 4s as well. And that first one is going to be a shot for 4 damage, so 4-up Feel No Pains will be taken, and the Poxwalker is eliminated. The Sergeant then moves and fires his bolter down at the Plague Marine, 4 shots on 3s due to the injury. Does get a reroll for Tactical Doctrine. That's going to be 2 hits. The saves on that Plague Marine are good, however. The Death Guard then activate one of their Poxwalkers, move him back to that home objective. And this will get a reaction from the Intercessors as they continue to push up their right flank, and one is going to target one of the Poxwalkers, firing with his bolt gun after a normal move here, gets 2 hits, turns into 3 with his reroll for Tactical Doctrine. Feel No Pains are rolled out, some damage is distributed, Bolter Discipline allowing him to fire again, and he ends up eliminating this Poxwalker, and the Death Guard are down to 2 operatives. Turn 2 concludes, and the Death Guard have decided to go ahead and call this one. It's going to be an Intercessor victory today. The Death Guard will score 2 on the primary here at the end, while the Astartes score 3. They also get 1 on the secondary for execution. Our score ended up being 7-3 in this one after turn 2. The Death Guard just not in a position to do anything and will be tabled in turn 3. With that, our battle report comes to a close. The Intercessors are going to improve their record to 4-1, while the Death Guard will fall to 0-1 in their debut game. This one was pretty interesting, as the Death Guard just very slow. They can certainly soak up a lot of fire from their 5-up Feel No Pains. But the Poxwalkers, while they do provide a lot of bodies on the table, which is what we were kind of going for in this one, they just simply don't provide any kind of output. In our next game with Death Guard, we may look to bring in another fire team of Plague Marines to see if that will kind of help give them some more offensive push to go along with some of their strategies, such as malicious volleys. I hope the battle report was enjoyable, as we certainly had fun making it. We just play casually and for fun and have a great time doing it. If you'd like to interact with me, feel free to do so down in the comments below. And at Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. There's a link down below if you have any interest in that. It's there. Quite frankly, if you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support my channel, so just leave a like and we are good. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.